Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. This time, I want to take a look at DC Comics Judge Dredd #1 from 1994. But before we do that, remind you, my two books are available: Bizarre Brain Comics Anthology and Bizarre Brain Comics Presents Heroes. And they're both available from Amazon or other online booksellers such as Thrift Books and the Barnes & Noble online store. $7.99 each. Some places I've seen them trying to sell it for like $18. No, just get it someplace for $7.99. And I do want to thank all the people out there who have already bought one or the other or both of my books. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. Okay. And Judge Dredd. Okay, Judge Dredd #1, DC Comics, 1994, written by Andrew Helfer, with with art by Mike Avon. I think that's pronounced Oeming. Oeming. And Judge Dredd is a violent British science fiction comic published in 2000 AD, created by Pat Mills, Carlos Esquerra, and John Wagner in 1977. Okay, and I've done an episode or two on Judge Dredd before, but that was with a comic reprinting some of the original stories from 2000 AD. And I have just a few issues of those, but then I have this. This is cool. The Best of Judge Dredd. And this particular printing is from 2013, and I think it was originally printed in 2009, I think is what it said. And that has a whole variety of course, this is all stuff from 2000 AD. And of course, over many years, showing some of the original artwork. And of course, it's almost all black and white, but then it has, even though after they introduced color on some of the stories and stuff, but then it even goes farther back to when it's color. And then here, this is reprinting this segment here. This is some beautiful stuff. A long storyline that's fully painted, and I don't know whether that was published in 2000 AD or a standalone graphic novel. I don't know. And this of course, this is 94. The DC Comics was an 18-issue run, all new, and established its own continuity, not directly related to the Judge Dredd stories in the British comic 2000 AD. It was released to coincide with the 1995 Judge Dredd movie starring Sylvester Stallone. Of course, there have been two Judge Dredd movies. The one with Stallone, and then it was about 10 or 11 years ago, was the Carl Urban version. And each version has some things to say for it. Overall, I think the Carl Urban version was superior, although I know a lot of the fans just hate the Stallone version. It was somewhat disappointing. I was not into Dredd at all at the time, and I'm still not a big fan, but I do enjoy reading Judge Dredd. And so they had the Carl Urban version. I think it was truer to the character, especially in the fact that he never took his helmet off. He never took his helmet off, just like in the comic. You never see Dredd's face. And that was the biggest drawback to, or one of the biggest drawbacks to the Stallone movie version, was that you saw him more without the helmet than with it. And then, of course, then they had the comic relief in there, which was a big killer. Although I read the novelization too, and that was disappointing. I think one of the biggest drawbacks to the Stallone version was the comic relief, and it had some problems with writing. But one thing good to say about it, had good production values. Both movies had good production values, but the Stallone version drew elements from many of the original 2080 stories, which is one of the things that I really like about it, because that stuff I hadn't read until I got this trade paperback. Okay, and that movie had come along with two novelizations, one juvenile, one regular novelization, and a graphic novel adaptation from DC Comics. I didn't know that until I was doing some research here. I've never seen it, and I had never seen anything about it until I saw the picture of that cover. I've never, to my recollection, I've never seen that book anywhere. So, enough about that. Let's get in, take a little look inside the pages. Judge Dredd. Now, as I said, this is a reboot for the American publication for this run. And it starts off, you just see bits of the motorcycle and a few other things with attention all units with radio communications. And then you see talking about a floater. In this case, it's talking about one of these. I want to call it a blimp, but it's not actually. But this airship, which they call a floater, and because it's going too low, and So then we realize he's climbing to the top of this building on this in his motorcycle on the stairs, and then you see people down below said, "Look up at the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! Drock that! It's Judge Dredd!" as he takes his super bike and fooms it over from the building and smashing into the gondola on the airship, and everyone starts opening fire on him. Blam 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 blam, and he shoots back and blam blam blam. And there's control radio, the dispatchers and stuff, and going back to chastising him, contacting the higher ups. Says they're supposed to arrest these people. Here he is engaged in a gun battle with him, and then. He flew. Then the airship starts to burn. The envelope burns away, and Dredd comes back crashing down back on top of it. The skeleton. See, that's why I don't call it a blimp, because it does have a rigid skeleton, which makes it a dirigible, not a blimp. And that's what gets caught between these two buildings. And he comes crashing down into the gondola, and. Some more gun battle, and you see these guys. If you look closely, I didn't see it when I was first reading it. All these guys have their pinkies removed, and he's blasting them away. And then he comes zooming out, and the flaming wreckage comes crashing to the ground. Finally, comes crashing to the ground. He comes smashing into the window of the building, and into an apartment. The guy, apartment resident, goes to chew him out, and he gets arrested for threatening a judge. See, Judge is not a nice guy. Dredd is not a nice guy. Then he finally gets down there, carting away the bodies, and Judge Dredd is being called on the carpet, being dressed down when he finally gets down there, and they're yelling at him, and his superiors are yelling at him. He said, "No, there was something more going on, because these are all all guys from Stubbs' gang. This guy Stubbs, his gang, because you see they're all missing their pinkies, and so there was something else going on. He takes off, gets called back, goes to the Hall of Justice, and when he's walking through the passageways, and then suddenly, boom! All these people start in masks, jump on him, start pounding away, and he just beats the crap out of them. It turns out they are cadets under his mentorship. And this is what he has them do: jump, try to take him by surprise, and he beats the crap out of them all the time. And so he's talking to his boss, and meanwhile we see other stuff going on, like this little old lady getting a ticket by a foot cop, and this judge on this floating car, is a traffic judge, I guess, goes around giving people citations, so they have the court right then and there. The little old lady takes the guy's gun and blasts the judge away. Turns out the little old lady is the cop's mother. So instead of trying to arresting her, he tries to get her off, get her out, and get her away, while Judge Dredd and his going into the Hall of Justice, and he has to go see his dispatcher, because he's got some suspicions about something, for being first of all kind of a spy for other sections of the Justice Department. But we see here he's watching stuff and eating, and he gets there. Said, "You're relieved. You can't relieve me." He said, "Okay then." And then they see he gets one of his minions to check on the stuff, and it turns out the guy had been instead of watching what he's supposed to be watching, he's watching in one of the casinos when one of the off-duty cops. He's connected with the off-duty cop, and they're working together to cheat the casino. Cheat at gambling. So the dispatcher is arrested, and the casino cop takes off, starts blasting away at the monitors and stuff. And now they got to find him, and so they go off, and it turns out he has gone to this bar area. It's a cop bar, but in the back is the headquarters of Stubbs, the gang leader, and he's going there wanting to get help from them. Now Stubbs is called Stubbs because he's got all but his pinky fingers missing, and to be part of his gang, you've got to lose your pinky. So he's just about to lose his pinky when Dredd and his people are about to get there. They're on their way, and it gets in, and of course, violence ensues. A lot of people get blown away. He busts through to the other side because Stubbs is taken off, and all of these cops have drawn down on him. Then next, Silicon Dreams, and that's the end of this storyline. And that is longer than what you usually see for a Judge Dredd story in 2000 AD, especially when it started, because they were just like individual. My previous episode was a 2000 AD story, and it was I think an 8-page story, and they were usually individual 8-page stories, and then occasionally they would have longer stories that continued 2 or 3 issues or something. So, and then some of them are even longer than that, where they have a 6 or 8-page chapter for then 3 or 4 chapters for a complete storyline, which is fine. As long as they're not doing this never coming to an end stuff. Especially since that doesn't make it too long. If you do like 4 chapters at 6 to 8 pages a piece, you're doing 40 to 48 page story, which is reasonable. And then it might have some subplots or something to show up later, but it's not all one big story that never ends. Soap opera style. I don't mind them continuing somewhat, but I don't like, not just Judge Dredd, other stories, other comics, when they just a story never comes to an end, or when they have one storyline that has run for 2 years or something like that. No, I just hate that. Well. Some nice artwork. It is Dredd is known for some of the stylization, and so this is some of the is very quirky, stylized. The visual art, storytelling is a-okay. It's right on, and then but then there's some parts that are much more almost photorealistic. You know, like the cover here, which is done by Avon. And I think that's a cool and impactful cover, and it really shows the. And if anything, the violence is toned down in this issue. Now I've got, it said it run 18 issues. I've got 1 or 2 other issues. I've read just one, and it was in the middle of a storyline, so I didn't know what was going on. And then I got this one more recently, because that's a good place to start. And but I'm not going to pursue. I enjoyed it, and I wouldn't mind reading some more, but I am not going to pursue this this run by any means. But I do enjoy Judge Dredd. Initially, when it came to America and became real popular in the late 80s, I was not. Maybe it's because I never saw a beginning. It was all in the middle, and I didn't know what to make of it. Some of the reprints, but it's extremely violent. And as I've learned more about Judge Dredd, I've enjoyed it. I'm by no means a huge fan, but I do enjoy. I enjoyed the movies. I do enjoy this. They've had some novels based on Judge Dredd. You know, prose novels as well as some graphic novels or compilations like this. A bunch looking online, and there are a bunch of reprint compilations. Is that right? Whatever. I can't talk right now. Okay, that's all. Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Are you a Dredd fan? Are you not a Dredd fan? Did you like either or both of the movies? Have you read any of the novels? Anything like that? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, comics are art.